With the Memphis Grizzlies fielding trade offers for Ja Morant, one of the best destinations, in my personal opinion, is for Ja to take his talents to South Beach. And the reason why I think this would be a good pairing, number one, he's very cheap right now, as this tweet says from Heat Culture. He's not going to cost the Heat a ton of assets. It's a low risk, high reward potentially for the Miami Heat. I like to think of it maybe not similar, but like the Jimmy Butler situation where he seemed to be trouble with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He got shipped to Philadelphia. He did really well in those clutch situations, a very important player for the Sixers. And Miami took a chance on him, and he got them the two NBA finals. That situation was a low risk, high reward situation, and it was a great relationship with Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. It could turn out the same way for Ja. Also, keep in mind, Ja Morant will have, I believe, 2 years left on his contract. So if it doesn't work out, okay, you just keep trying to obtain or other superstars. You want to show your fan base that you are back in the driver's seat to go out and get players who have superstar talent. Think about Miami for a moment. What is their main ingredients to building out a roster? Is trades, free agencies, and the draft. Remember, they traded for Shaquille O'Neal. I understand they drafted Dwayne Wade, but they still made a blockbuster trade. You look at LeBron James, Chris Bosh, they signed them in free agency. You look at Jimmy Butler, they signed him in free agency. When's the last biggest acquisition they made outside the draft in via free agency or trades? It's been a while, right? So if I'm Miami and I look at the situation, I have nothing to lose. Ja comes in, he's got to prove himself. He wants a bigger contract or just stay in the NBA, right? And I think pairing him with Miami's culture, where they can show him some new things, he can grow his game. And I think Eric Spoelstra will get the best out of Ja Morant. And you look at the Miami's roster, it's not a bad roster. Bam has been solid. Clearware, I love Clearware's game. I think he's only going to get better. And you have Tyler Hero. You can pair him with this roster. Who knows what you have? It doesn't hurt to find out. And the worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work and you go after your next superstar. What if it does work out? Well, Giannis is a free agent next year. What if he wants to come play with Ja Morant? That could be very intriguing for the Heat. So if I'm Miami, I'm getting back to my roots and I'm trying to pick up talent, superstar potential players, because that's how they win their championships. That's how they contend for them. So there's nothing to lose here. He can drive to the basket. I know that Ja is only shooting 40% from the field, but that's not his average. Most of the time, he's shooting at least 45% from the field. It's just been a situation where Memphis needs to move on and start over. Does Ja need to stop, getting in trouble? Of course. But again, if you're in Miami, I know it can be very distracting. I think Ja will be locked in because he understands if I mess this up, my value is going to go down the drain. And if I can't make it work in Miami where they don't mess around and you got to show up and embrace their culture, then my value around the league is going to be cooked. So I think it's a win-win situation potentially for the Miami Heat. And if it doesn't work out, okay, you cut your losses, but get back to making big trades and signing free agents. And like I said, it's not going to cost him a whole lot. He doesn't have a lot of value right now. So go ahead and pull the trigger. See what you get with a John Morant, a Bam Adebayo, a Tyler Hero, a Khalil Ware. And maybe it turns into something. And all of a sudden, you're like, maybe we're one piece away from actually making a run at the NBA Finals and winning the championship. You just don't know. Ware and Bam Adebayo are a great front court. You just got to figure out, okay, we need a solid number one or number two option. Maybe Ja becomes that 1B. Now you just need that 1A on your roster. That's fine because a guy like Giannis might be like, okay, I get to play with Bam, Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero, and John Morant. Maybe the money doesn't work, so maybe they have to move up one of those guys. I don't know. But that sounds intriguing to a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Maybe Nikola Jokic. I don't know if Nikola would ever leave Denver. But you get what I'm saying. You're trying to build value for your franchise and show other superstar talents out there who are looking to get out of bad situations that the Miami Heat is now the place to go. It's the place you want to play basketball. It's nice weather. You can sell players on that, but you got to make a move. And I think this trade would be a good situation for Ja because I really believe wherever he goes, like the Trae Young situation, he's going to be motivated. And he knows that if he doesn't perform at a high level and doesn't become this player used to be back in, maybe not similar, but a guy who can be reliable, give you 25 to 27 points a night, shoot about 45, 48% from the field. And even if he doesn't shoot about 1 3, if he can get to like 34, 35%, just be respectable, then teams are going to be like, man, Ja's back. The talent's out there going to be like, you know what? Let me go play with Ja. Seems like he's got his head right. And he culture is a brilliant place to play. And Eric Spoelstra, I'm sorry, is one of the greatest coaches in the NBA. He can take an average roster, get to the NBA finals. If I go to Miami, I got a great shot. So those are my thoughts. What do you think about a Ja Morant trade to the Miami Heat? Do you think it's a good move or a bad move? I want to hear your opinions. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you on the next one.